So now I've had quite a few people ask me, how do you build this cage or cages in general? And this cage is a really good example because it was actually quite simple to build, but it always takes deceptively long, and there's always little things that happen that make it more complicated. So this cage I absolutely love. It's my favorite of all the cages I've built. And two reasons for that is that it's wonderfully easy to interact with them. I've got it at just the right height. You can easily come and say hi and pet everybody and talk to everybody. It's just like awesome. Whereas the other cages are nice too, but they're a little bit lower down. This one's higher up. So it's wonderful. It's also got the Velcro. Eventually I want to make some makeshift doors. Well, I want to make some real proper doors for this, but ones that you can take off, so you only have to put it up when needed. And right now I've got this 10 plaster arrangement for temporary cages. This stuff's actually quite nice to use, and I've got Velcro and I can actually put it up here. So if there's baby mice, or I think they need to feel a little bit more enclosed or a little bit warmer, or any reason that I think it might be a good idea to have a door, then this is very easy to put up. Even though, of course, it's not that professional looking. It would be nice to have a piece of plexiglass. But I have to figure out how to do it so that it's easy to take off, and then you can have an open concept mastery. And then when you feel you need it, you can put it on. So I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm still got about, 6 months to do so. So the way that I built it. So I love it because it's like that. And the mice love it. It seems to be the favorite cage of everybody. Even though it's a little smaller than those other cages, it has this top, and I think that makes them feel very secure. They really like it. Ooh. This is a training tool right here. This is a target stick, and I haven't really been training them. We did a little bit of, yep, she remembers, good girl. They're supposed to touch their noses to it, and Rachel was doing a little bit of training, and they catch on really quickly, especially when there's cheesies involved. But I don't have cheesies right now, so I will put it back here. But I do need to start doing a little bit of target training with them. They do love being trained, because training is all about love for mousies. Problem solving, love, and cheesies. This troop is like so awesome. This troop is so awesome. Okay, back to the cage. Okay, the way I built it is I made a cube. So I cut the pieces out. I screwed them all together, and with the screws I'm always a little bit careful to make them look good. You want to have them nicely spaced, so have them a bit symmetrical. So I made this big solid wooden cube, and then I came along with a electrical saw and cut out these spaces. I cut out one here, one there, and two over here, and then a big one up front. And then once I'd done that, I realized that you make the pieces actually weaker. They're not really designed to be cut like that. It worked really well with these, but the front one came apart. So I actually had to redo the front with some 1x4s. 1x4s up here, 1x6 down here, 1x4s. But that worked quite well too. But to attach these, I used the screws, but I also used brackets. And I use brackets a lot because I'm not a trained carpenter, so I don't know any of the fancy joining techniques. So I find these brackets are wonderfully easy to use instead. Not totally professional, but it still looks good, and it's practical and makes for a really nice cage. Nice sturdy cage. And then for this one, because I'd had the bad experience on the front, I added an extra little shelf bracket just to make it a bit stronger. And then I sanded everything like crazy to make everything as smooth as possible. And then I put 4 layers of water-based semi-gloss Varathane on it, just to seal it, so that it's easy to clean. And water-based Varathane is actually quite non-toxic once it's cured. A mouse would have to drink about 100 times its body weight before it would have any toxic effect. So once it's cured, it just becomes plastic, and it's pretty safe for them. It also discourages chewing. They're less likely to chew on wood once it has been mistreated with everything, even though they still will sometimes chew on things. But like here, some mice are worse than others. This is actually quite an old thing. I would have made this one about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. So it's done pretty well, but occasionally you get mice that really like to chew. Like the Percies are absolutely hopeless. They chew on everything. They're really bad. But, oh. Tabitha, what are you doing down here? Tabby, I don't want you in there. No, 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 no. Go out, 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 out. Tabby, out, 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 out. I don't want you in here. You always got to watch out with them. Tabby. Yeah, these guys have been having free run recently too, and they remember it very well. The problem is Tabitha had such a good time that it took me forever to find and catch her and put her back home. So I'm a little leery about letting her out, whereas this lot are super easy. Once they've had enough, after about, I don't know, an hour of running around, they come and they hop on your lap and into your hand, and it's time to put them back into their cage. They always get treats when you put them back into the cage so that they look forward to it. But this little one was just having too good a time and took me forever to find her. And then she didn't want to be caught because she knew it meant coming back in here. So we'll see. You know, she really had a good time, didn't she? She had a wonderful time. Yeah. Okay, back to the cage. So we verified everything really well. And then because I'm filming a lot and also to make it look good, it's really great to have lights. So I bought these lights from Home Hardware and they work great, except they are a little bit iffy with some of the electronics. Sometimes they can have a shorter lifespan. They suddenly decide not to work anymore. But overall, I'm really happy with them. And they do a wonderful lighting to the whole cage. It looks super, and it's also great for filming. So I always get nice crisp filming with these lights. So, and the lights, they go out here, and there's the little switch. I can turn it off and on from the outside, and it is beautiful. It's a wonderful cage. And so, to attach it to the wall, I first of all got these really big brackets, but because it's so heavy, I also added some extra screws to it. And the trickiest part about getting something like this up is you have to find the studs in the wall, and that is not always that easy to do. But I have a special little tool that does it, but isn't always as good as it should be. But I managed to find these. I put up these shelf brackets, put this on top, and then added the extra screws just for added safety. I want this to be really sturdy and strong, which it is. Hi guys. So Mara's doing really well health-wise, but she has always had a little bit of a breathing issue. She can get very hiccupy and sneezy. And I was looking at some footage of her when she was a tiny baby, and she was doing it then. She was a little hiccupy, tiny, little half-naked baby with closed eyes. So she's always had this issue, and I think it's an allergy. She can't be on anything even remotely dusty, and that's why she is being bedded with paper towel. And that makes a big difference. I have given her these leaves, but she seems to be okay with them. She just doesn't like dusty beddings. And then she still will sneeze sometimes, so I've bought 2 added devices to help her with her respiratory issues. So one thing I got was a humidifier. And it's just a little humidifier. It's not very big. It's just under the cage. You can turn it on, and it does a little bit of steam. So whenever I hear her sneezing, I turn this on, and within no time she stops sneezing. It works really, really well. And then just to be on the extra safe side, I also bought this. And I'm extremely happy with this little filter. It's by Lavoit, and it's a wonderful small size. So you can just have it beside your mouse cage, and it filters all the air, takes all the allergens out of it. And then the air goes up here, and there isn't any draft here. It's not bad. I always check, make sure there isn't a draft. But there'll be very clean air coming through here, and it's made a huge difference. Amara doesn't sneeze virtually at all anymore. And I'm so happy, because I was really worried about her for a while. I almost didn't have the surgery done because she was so sneezy, but I'm so glad I did. And she's doing super, 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 super. So, show you the setup again. So this is Midas, Amara, Faye, and Tabitha's cage. And it was challenging, but actually relatively simple to build. And then just to make sure that Amara is extra healthy, I have the humidifier, which is really good because we have very cold winters here in the Yukon. So the air becomes very dry, and this has made a lot of difference to her. And then this wonderful little air filter, it does such a nice job, and it's so small and very easy to use, and it gives Amara a lot of really nice clean air, and she's doing just great. I have several different settings, but I usually just have it on the lowest. If she were to really start sneezing, or if I was doing something dusty in this room, then I'd put it up. But happy, healthy little girl. Amara? This one really wants to run free so badly. So badly.